The UK construction industry is a sector where the clarity of the government's guidance on how to respond to the Covid-19 crisis has been criticised. As construction lawyers, we are receiving regular queries from businesses concerned about whether they're doing the right thing and what their obligations and liabilities are in the current situation. Here, we seek to provide answers to some of those most frequently asked questions. Is my site still allowed to open? There has been some confusion on this issue after the Prime Minister's statement on the 23rd of March. Since then, both the Housing Secretary and the Chancellor have confirmed that construction sites are allowed to remain open, with people directed to go to work if they cannot work from home. The government's also drawn parallels with Italy and France, where construction sites have continued to operate. The situation is different in Scotland, however, where the First Minister has said that sites should close. The Construction Leadership Council had issued its own guidance that sites may remain open if they implement the published site operating procedures, including observing the government's social distancing requirements. We recommend that businesses undertake regular site safety assessments and determine if they can comply with the site operating procedures. We also suggest that businesses watch for further clarification from the government. Am I entitled to time and/or money? This will depend on the specific project and contract terms. Extensions of time are likely to be awarded under most standard form contracts pursuant to force majeure provisions, changes in law, and/or the exercise of statutory powers, although the recently published procurement policy note advises public sector clients to take a pragmatic approach. And if a supplier seeks to invoke a force majeure provision, contracting authorities are encouraged to first work with the supplier to seek to temporarily amend or vary contracts instead. As for money, the position will be different according to the standard form contract used. The types of provisions I've just mentioned will be relevant events but not relevant matters under JCT contracts, while NEC do not draw this distinction under their compensation event mechanism, applying both time and money to all compensation events. It may still be possible to claim money under a JCT contract, for example, if an employer has issued instructions restricting access to site, deferring or changing the scope of work. Should I be negotiating coronavirus clauses? Contractors could face difficulties seeking to rely on force majeure provisions to cover Covid-19 related disruption for contracts being negotiated now. We therefore advise clients to allocate relevant risks with bespoke clauses moving forwards. It may also be possible to agree extensions to deferment provisions, allowing either party to defer possession of the site for prolonged periods in the current uncertain times. What about my supply chain? For relationship and commercial reasons, we consider it is important that relief agreed under a main contract is passed down the supply chain. Legally, contractors will also want to ensure their positions are back-to-back to avoid being exposed to financial claims downstream if they are potentially only able to recover time upstream. Do we have any other tips for legal or commercial best practice? If a site has to be closed, parties must make sure that it's secured, that insurances are being maintained, if at all possible, that a condition survey is undertaken before the site is left safely. We suggest that parties ensure that any post being sent to site is being forwarded or collected by someone who is able to access site safely. And finally, we suggest that you ensure that you are continuing to serve all of the appropriate contractual notices, both to secure entitlements under the contract, but also to ensure that you do not miss any payment applications or the serving of any pay less notices, and thus avoid facing potentially costly smash and grab adjudications. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact a member of the Field Fisher construction team.